Okay, so hello everyone. I'm Ghadeer Mohammad, and for those who don't know me, I'm an architecture student in Kuwait University, and I've been using Rhino for, let's say, 3 years, yeah. And I would like to welcome all of you to my first Rhino workshop. So this is something that I always want to do. So thank you, Casa, for having me and giving me that opportunity. Highly appreciated. And then, so yeah, I'm gonna start with a very short presentation. And then I'm gonna move into Rhino. Okay, let's get started. So I'm gonna explain the workshop, the structure of the workshop. So I divided the workshop into 6 sections. Just 1 minute. Okay. Okay, so I divided the workshop into six sections. And after each sections, we're gonna have a very short Q&A. So I'm gonna start with new Rhino commands, which is basically a command that comes with Rhino 6 specifically. And then I'm gonna move into surface creation and deformation transformation tools, which most of the interesting stuff happening here. Sorry. Okay. Just a note, you have to switch into speaker view so you can see me and the screen, but most importantly to see the screen. Okay, so new Rhino 6 commands, surface creation, deformation, transformation tools, and then few tips and tricks. And then we're gonna move into camera settings, so how to adjust, like, for example, your sections, your model, specific in general. And then we're gonna move into Rhino display mode, which is a really powerful tools. For example, if you don't have like enough time to do your renderings in V-Ray or Illustrator, you can do all your renderings using Rhino display mode, and the outcome has like a really really good quality. So it's really a time saver. And then at the end, hopefully, we have enough time to do a modeling exercise. We're gonna do a really fun modeling exercise, which is origami modeling. Okay, so just one important thing I wanna add. So if you have any question during the workshop or during the demonstration, so as you can see that I'm gonna have a Q&A after each section. So before I move into the next section, I'll make sure that I answer your question, the previous section. And the way to ask the question, you can use the raise hand button, which is offered by Zoom. I'm not sure where you can find it, forget. But it shows, I think, above the chat. I'm not sure. So you can either raise your hand and then a CASA member will let you speak, or you can also type the question on the chat. Or third option is to wait until the Q&A session, let's say. So you can either type the question on the chat during the demonstration or raise your hand, or you can wait until the Q&A of that specific section. So hopefully that's clear. Reem, you can't hear me. Please, Adil, tell her to unmute the. Okay, someone just tell her to unmute from the up button. You can type. Okay, thank you, Khalid. So, okay, we'll have to move fast. Okay, now I'm gonna start. Okay. Okay. Okay, so okay, so I'm gonna start with the new random commands. But please, if you feel that I'm going so fast, just please let me know so I can lower the speed. So I'm gonna hide everything except for S1, which is the first section that we're gonna discuss. Okay, new Rhino commands. These commands, most of them came with Rhino 6, so you can't find them in Rhino 5. But before starting with these new Rhino commands, I'm gonna talk about two commands that I'm gonna use extensively in the workshop. So first command called zoom selection, and I'm guessing that most of you know it, but just to double check, because I know that some of you maybe are not specifically intermediate level, maybe beginner, or they have a short experience with Rhino. So I'll try to consider that. So yeah, so first command called zoom select. So what it does is that it's zoom select, zoom like the specific selection. So let's say I zoom out like that, and then I only want to zoom in very quick. So what you can do is to select the object, okay, and then type, okay, the abbreviation of the zoom selection, zoom, ZS, and then enter, and then you're gonna have the object zoom in. Okay, this is the first command called zoom selection. The next command called isolate. So isolate came also with the Rhino 6, and what it does, it's basically it hides everything that is non-select. So I'm gonna select this square, and then I'm gonna type isolate, enter. So as it shows that it hides everything that is non-select. So zoom selection and isolate. So now I'm gonna start with what you have here. Okay, so first new Rhino command called slab. So, and it is self-explanatory. So slab, so it creates for us basically a slab. So let's say this is the outline of your floor plan, and you want to give it a thickness and extrude it at the same time. So what we usually do is that we select and do the offset. Let's say we're gonna offset 3 millimeters, and then we take usually these two curves, and then we do extrude. Extrude curve, and then we have our wall. But with slab, you can do the both command in one by using only slab. So let's see how. So I'm gonna type slab, okay, and then I'm gonna select the curve, and then you can type the distance that you want. So let's say 5. I'm just gonna exaggerate for the demonstration purposes. So let's say my wall thickness is 5. And then you're gonna decide whether you want to offset it out to the outside or to the inside. So let's say the outside, then click, and then you can determine the height of your wall. So let's say I'm gonna type 10. Yeah, this is very low. I'm gonna do it one more time, but I hope you'll get the idea. I'm gonna repeat one more time. So I'm gonna use slab. So I'm gonna type slab. Okay, I'm gonna select the curve, and then you decide on the offset, the distance of the offset, let's say 3. You wanna have it to the inside or the outside, so let's say outside. And then the height, let's say 100. So yeah, this is now you have your roll with only using one command. Okay, ribbon. The next command called ribbon. So we're done with slab, and now we're gonna go to ribbon. So ribbon, it's very similar to offset, but the only difference is that it creates a surface and the offset at the same time. So just I'm gonna select the type ribbon. Okay, ribbon. And then select the curve, and then the exact same process. So decide on the distance. So let's say 5. And yeah, just click whether you're inside or to the outside. And then you have your surface basically. So you don't have to offset and then do a planar surface. You do the same thing with the one click. One thing. Okay. The next command called curve Boolean. Okay. So let's say this is your let's say this is your diagram, and you only want to extract the outline of that diagram for any reason. Okay. So instead of doing just trim, you can use trim to do that. Okay. There is curve Boolean. So curve Boolean, it's gonna create for you the outline in a single click. So I'm gonna type curve Boolean, and then I'm gonna select the curve, and then enter, and then these are really important options. So all of these inner parts called region. So if you only want to create an outline of the whole composition, let's say, you have to use all regions. So I'm gonna click on all region, enter, and then again, enter again. So now you have the outline of the whole thing. Okay. Let's see the other options. So curve Boolean one more time, and then select, enter. There's something called combined regions. And combined regions, what it does, it creates the same thing, the outline, but for like a specific object. So let's say you want the outline only for this object. You don't want to get the outline of the whole thing. So I'm gonna do it one more time. Curve Boolean. Okay. Select, enter, and then combine region. Yes. Okay, so okay, yes. Combined regions, I already have it, yes. So then what I do is that I click on the regions that I want to create the outline for. So notice where I'm clicking. So let's say that is the region that I want. I only want the outline of this whole thing. I don't want the outline of the whole region. Okay? And then enter. And now you have the outline of a specific regions. Okay? So first time we did the outline of the whole thing when you used all region, and the second one we did the combined region, yes. And now the last thing, we're gonna experiment what it does when we use the combined region. No. So one more time, curve Boolean, select, enter, combined region, no. So I'm gonna click on it to switch it to no, and then also do the exact same thing. Okay, and then enter. So separates all these regions without combining them. So now I'm having all of these regions individually. Okay, is that clear? Please type on this chat. I'm going too fast or too slow. Okay, so now we're done slab, ribbon, and curve Boolean. And also how curve Boolean could be really useful, especially if you're doing a floor plan and you want to get rid of these lines. Thank you, Fatma. To get rid of these lines very quick. So curve Boolean would be really helpful for that. So I'm gonna do the curve Boolean, and then I'm gonna do combined region, yes. Oh, sorry, curve Boolean, enter combined region, yes. So now I'm gonna select. Okay. And then enter. So now I get rid of these extra lines just by using a curve Boolean. So it could be really helpful. Okay, let's move to the next command. The next command called, okay, the next command called cut plane. So let's say you want to trim this part of the model. So let's say, so what we usually do is that, personally what I usually do before is to create a line. Okay, and then I extrude it. By the way, okay, in Rhino 6 you can extrude by using this cylinder here. Okay, and then I extrude the line, and then I make sure that it's outside of the model, and then I select the plane, and then I use trim, and then I click on the part that I want to get rid of. So to avoid having all of this process, you can use cut plane, and it's doing the exact same thing. So I'm gonna type cut plane, select objects for cut planes. So I'm gonna select this one, enter. It's gonna ask you to draw the start of a cut plane. So I'm gonna go to the top view, okay, and then I'm gonna draw my line like this, and then enter. So notice what's gonna happen. So it's gonna create for me that plane that I used to do it with drawing a line and then extruding it. So it makes the process really much easier. So then I'm just gonna trim this part. Okay. Okay, next command called silhouette. Silhouette, it's kind of similar to extract wireframe, but the only difference is that it's only give you the outline of the object. So it doesn't have these ISO curves as a lines when you do the extract wireframe. So let's say I'm doing extract wireframe. Okay. So notice all of these annoying curves. So let's say you don't want to have all of these ISO curves. You only want the outline of the whole thing. So just select and then silhouette. Enter. And now you only have the outline of the object. I'm gonna repeat one more time. So just select the object, type silhouette, enter, and now you have the outline of the whole thing without the ISO curves. Okay. I'm gonna skip this thing for now. I'm gonna go back to it. Okay, so untrim. So let's say this has always happened to me. So I found it useful to know. So let's say you have this box and you did use the curve Boolean. Okay. Oh, sorry. You do the Boolean difference. So I'm gonna do now the Boolean difference. I'm guessing that you all know the Boolean difference. Select surfaces or poly surfaces to subtract from. So I'm gonna select this one, enter, and then the surfaces or poly surfaces to subtract with. I'm gonna select my sphere, enter. Okay, so let's say I did the curve Boolean and I'm not happy with the result. So how I'm gonna fix it? And let's say you can't do redo the poles. So how I can fix this issue? Simply by just using untrim. So I'm gonna type untrim, enter, and then it's gonna ask me to select edge to untrim. So I'm gonna select this edge. And now you have your previous box. Okay. So I found it really helpful when it comes to wrong booleans. So I'm gonna do it one more time. So untrim, enter, select edge to untrim. Edge to untrim. I'm gonna select that edge. Okay, this one. Enter, and now here we go. We have our previous box. Okay, that's it for untrim. The next command called distribute. So distribute, what it does, so let's say you have all of these circles and you wanna preserve the spacing in between. So you want all of the circles to have the same spacing. Okay, so I'm gonna type distribute, and then it's gonna ask me to select at least 3 objects to distribute. So I'm gonna select all of these circles, and then enter. And then it's gonna ask me to specify the spacing in between these circles. So let's say, okay, let's say here 3, enter. And then it's gonna ask you to select the axis. So do you wanna distribute them on the x-axis, or on the y-axis, or on the z-axis? So for now, I'm gonna do the x-axis. Okay, x. So now all of these spacing are equal. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. So I'm gonna type distribute, then I'm gonna select these squares, then enter, choose the spacing, let's say 4, enter, and then the axis, X. And here we go, all of these are equal spacing. Okay, the next command, it's not a command, it's something that is already there from Rhino 1 maybe, but for some reason I don't use it before, and I found it really helpful. So for example, sometimes when I want to draw a line on a perspective and I want it to be a vertical line, I always do like this line, which is horizontal, and then I use rotate 3D, like that. But there's already a tool which is line vertical to Seaplane. So just by clicking, simply you can create your vertical line. Because I know most of people, they don't know about it, and they keep rotating the horizontal lines. And they already also have vertical circles and vertical squares. So let's say rectangle vertical. So yeah, so now you have a vertical rectangle and you don't have to rotate. Okay. So that's it for section 1. We're a bit late, so I have to move into section 2. So can I hide this one? Okay. Section 2, solid surface creation. Okay. So what are the different tools that can helps you create surfaces, but not like the normal surfaces? No, like more of like a freeform surfaces. Just 1 minute. Okay, more of like a freeform surfaces. So the first, which is my favorite command, called network serve. So network serves, what it does is that it's say it. First, you have to give it like a hint of your shape that you want. So let's say my shape, it's a bit curvy from this side and has kind of an extension from this side, and so on and so forth. And so let me try to use it so it's better to understand. I'm gonna use network serve for now. So network serve, enter, and then you have to select all of your curves. So I have here 3 curves, and then enter, enter, enter. So yeah, so now you have your freeform surfaces, and as you notice that it doesn't follow exactly your curves, because these curves, it just to gives it a hint of the shape that you want. So this is the shape that it creates. I'm gonna do it one more time. And sometimes just to make, okay, sometimes it doesn't work. You have to, the more you connect the curves, the better. Okay. I'll do it one more time. Network serve. and then enter, and now you have your surfaces. And also you can switch between these options, which are honestly I don't play with it that much. I'll just go with the result and deform it a lot more. Okay, one more time. So it's really great tool, especially with freeform objects. Just 1 minute. Okay. So that's it for network server. The next the next command, I know that most of you know it, but I'm just want to add something to it. So loft, we all know, I'm guessing that the typical loft that we all love, I'm assuming. So this is the normal loft that we do. You don't have to follow me with this one, just to demonstrate. So this is the normal loft that we used to do. Sorry. Okay, but there's a cool option with loft where you can control and end up with a form like this one. So this thing called hyperlite structure. So you can end up with something similar to this by only using loft, which is great. So I'm gonna go back to loft. Okay, so how can we achieve that? I'm gonna create two circles. Okay. And then I'm gonna copy the circle. You can copy by click on Alt and just drag the object, and then it's gonna create an exact copy of your object. So one more time, I'm just gonna select, click Alt, and then move your circle. Okay, and then I'm just gonna reduce the scale of this circle. So let's say, okay, let's say like that. And then I'm gonna use loft. So loft. And then enter. So as you can see, there's this small white arrow. And what you have to do is just to click on that arrow and move it along the circle. Okay, so I'm gonna click and move that arrow. Okay, so let's say I'll click again here. Okay, so then I'm gonna click enter. So notice what happens, as if it's kind of twisting the loft instead of having the straight. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. So loft, select the first circle, the second circle, enter, just move these arrow, click and drag this arrow. So let's say, one more time, sorry. Okay, then click again, and then enter. So now you have your structure that I have showed you, kind of similar. Okay, so that's it for loft. And one thing I want to mention for loft and tween at the same time. Sometimes what happens, just 1 second. something you have this situation. When you do loft, this thing happens as if it's creating an X. So what you have to do in that situation is to go to the options. There's something called align curves. So just click on align curve and click on any point on your loft, on your curves. Then just click, and then you're gonna resolve the issue. Okay. Also, same thing happens with tween. So tween curve, select one curve, second. Oh, sorry. And it happens because notice where I'm clicking. I'm clicking to the left, and then I'm gonna click to the right. So it confuses Rhino because of the wrong direction. So you have to click this side or this and this side. So keep the side constant. Okay. Okay. So that's it for loft, and we the next command called sweep. So we all know that the typical sweep, which is this one, say sweep one, select rail. So this is my rail, and this is my cross section, enter. So this is like our typical sweeping. But there is also another potential for you to, I mean the other options. So I'm gonna do speed one more time. So sweep one. Okay. So in the options or in the frame style, there's something called freeform and road light. And this thing, these two options can do a really fun stuff, actually. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna type, I'm gonna create a spiral just to demonstrate these two options. So I'm gonna type spiral, okay. First, I'm gonna create my axis, which I'm gonna use the vertical line that we have explained previously. Okay, so now spiral, the start of the axis from the bottom. This is my end of the axis. I'm guessing that you know spiral. Okay, let's say this. Okay, so this is my spiral. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna draw a line from this spiral till the axis of the spiral. So notice where I draw the line from the spiral to the axis. And then I'm gonna use sweep. So I'm gonna use sweep one. So select rail. So this is my rail, the spiral line, and then enter. Oh, select rail. Okay, then select the cross sections curves. So this is my cross section. Enter. Select and then enter. And now, okay. So for the first time, I'm gonna use the road line. So notice the difference. And it would be way more interesting when you use both of them at the same time. So let's see how. So now I'm gonna use road light, okay. And then I'm gonna use the freeform one. So I'm gonna do a sweep again, sweep one. This is my rail. This is my cross section. Enter, and then I'm gonna switch into a freeform. Okay. Okay. So notice what happened. I don't know. To me, it's really cool. Spirally object. So let's. Okay. So notice the kind of spirally thing happening. And it could be also more interesting if you, like, for example, create a stairs for this whole spiral thing, and it becomes a spiral staircase. And I did it actually in one of my projects. We'll see later. Okay, so that's it for sweep. Revolve. Okay, so revolve. We all know I'm assuming that we know the typical revolve. So let's see. Revolve. Select curves to revolve. So I just draw an axis and a curve to revolve. So this is my curve to revolve. Enter, and then this is my axis. So this is the typical revolve that we all know. So there's something also called rail revolve. Okay. What it does is that there's two parameters controlling the revolve. So let's see how. Rail revolve. Enter. Select the profile curve. So this is my profile. And then select rail. Yeah, this is my rail. Oh, sorry, no. Rail revolve. This is my profile curve, and this is my rail on the bottom. Enter, then I'm gonna select the axis. So it creates a revolving object, but by it's not just controlled by this curve, it's controlled by two different curves, this one and this one. Okay. Also, another way to create, let's say, create a solid is by using a create.
غدير علق عندك عدل؟
لا صح، بس ليش؟ ويت اوكي، المفروض الحين يرجع.
اوكي تمام. بس غدير شيء بسيط، انا حاط الميتنج على بالنا ل9:30، فما ادري انا هل الساعه 9:30 راح يفصل بروحه ولا لا.
لا راح نخلص ان شاء الله قبل.
هو بحال انه ما خلصنا، بس عشان اللي اللي موجودين، اذا سكر بروحه يا جماعه راح اسوي ميتنج جديد وانزل الكود باكونت كاسه بالانستغرام، فما عليكم امر. بس اذا بحال انه فصل دشون على اكونت كاسه بالانستغرام ودشون مره ثانيه. اوكي مايك لك.
Okay, so I was talking about create solid. So what I'm having here is a bunch of surfaces. So now I'm gonna type create solid, enter, and then it's gonna ask me to select intersecting surfaces and polysurfaces. So I'm gonna select all of these surfaces and then enter. So now the results, it's basically a result of all of these intersected surfaces, like the area in the middle, that was in the middle. One more time, create solid, select, enter. So now you have your solid that is a result of intersected planes. Okay. Next, okay, there's something called subdivision modeling, which is basically a whole new modeling technique. And Rhino started introducing this in Rhino before it wasn't there. Because Rhino, it's a NURBS modeling tool, but now it started introducing a subdivision surface modeling technique. So basically, it's a modeling technique for making high resolution models. And people who used to work with the gaming industry and like high resolution model, they probably know what does that mean specifically. So this is the subdivision surface modeling tool. And in Rhino 7, they improved the subdivision tools a lot. So it is much easier to go, if you're really interested with subdivision modeling tool, to go with Rhino 7. It's still working process, and use the available tool there. And also when it comes to architecture, there's buildings such as Toyo Ito National Theater, and like all of these structure could be created by using a subdivision modeling technique. So I'm gonna move into Rhino. Okay, so here what I have is joined surfaces. So these are just typical surfaces. So to convert this into a subdivision model, first thing you have to do is to make sure that all of these surfaces are joined. This is the first thing you have to consider. The next thing is to convert these NURBS into a mesh. And in order to do that, you have just to select and then type mesh. Yeah, enter. And then there is a window that's gonna pop up. Just click OK, whether it's like that or this, it doesn't matter. So just OK. And then, so now when I'm selecting this one, you see here a one mesh added to selection. So now this is basically a mesh. It's not a NURBS object. So now we make sure that everything is joined, and then we're converting it into a mesh. Then what we have to do is to use the command. It's either to subd or subd from NURBS. And these two commands are called hidden command. So it doesn't show until you type the whole word and click enter, then it's gonna show. Even if you just type to sub, it doesn't show. You have to write the whole thing. So it's either this for some versions and this one for other versions. So try both and see which one is what. Okay. So now I'm gonna type to subd, enter, and then it's gonna ask me to select meshes. So it works only with meshes. Then I'm gonna select my mesh and then enter. So keep these options, no, and then enter. Okay. And now you have your subdivision surfaces. Okay. So it creates a really smooth, free-flowing object. So it really has a lot of potential, even when it comes to architecture. So I'm going to repeat the whole process one more time. So now I'm having the NURBS, the joined surfaces. I'm going to type mesh. Okay. And then I'm having now my mesh. And then I'm going to type to subd, enter. And then I'll keep all the options as default. No. Then enter. So now you'll have your subdivision surface. Is there someone typing? I'm not sure. There's something weird. Mesh. I'm not. Okay. Just please delete the typing. Okay. So that's it for the solid surface creation. So we discussed network surf, where you just select a bunch of different curves, and we discussed the loft and tween and sweeping, revolve, revolve, create solid, and then finally the subdivision modeling. Okay. Is there any question? Please type if there's any. I'm just going a bit faster because we have to finish. Okay. Now I'm gonna move into another topic called deformation and transformation tools. And you can find the whole menu, all tools under yeah, here. You can find under the flow along surface, or and under under move and under flow along surface. So you can have the whole menu here. Thank you, Miriam. Miss you. Okay, so these are all a different way of surface deformation or solid deformation. So let's say you have this cube. So the most basic way to deform it is by open the control point of that object. So just I'm gonna type solid PT on, this one, solid PT on, and then select the poly surface and then enter. So you will have these points. You can start to play around and move them, push and pull them, and so on and so forth. But this is the most basic way to deform any object. For the staircase, if there's enough time, I'm gonna show you how to do it, inshallah. Okay, so the most basic way to deform any object is by open the control point of that object. Just to bring in my notes. So the next one called cage edit. And cage edit, what it does is that create like a cage. Let's see, okay, surrounded that. This object is going to be inside a cage, basically. Okay, so I want to try it on a sphere because it would be more interesting to do. So this is my sphere. Okay, and then now I'm going to type cage edit. Okay, select captive object, which is this one, enter. What I usually do is I'm always using bounding box. Okay, and so I'm gonna click on bounding box, and then I go with word, and then these X point and Y point is the amount of control point that you want to control that object. So I'll keep it 4 by 4. Oh, okay, and then I'm gonna hit enter. And for this one, region to edit global. So now you have all of these control point. So now you can start to play with these. So you just have to select one of these points and try to push them. So as if you're dealing with the play-like object. So it could be really fun exercise. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna repeat the cage edit, Dana. I'm gonna repeat. Yeah. So as if you're sculpting the object. Okay. So I'm gonna repeat the cage edit. So let's do it with the cube. So I have my cube here, and then I'm gonna type cage edit. Okay. And then it's gonna ask me to select captive object. This one, enter. And then I'm gonna go with bounding box, and then the coordinate system is world, and then these two options is to specify the amount of control points. So let's say I wanna set it to 7 by 8, and then enter, and then the region to edit, I'm gonna use the global. Okay. So now you have all of these control points. We can start play with this. Just select and push and pull these control points. Okay. So you could end up with a really fascinating object by just deforming a cube, single cube. And just to, when you're done with your deformations, just type skip, and that's it. Okay. So I hope it was clear. The cage edit. Just 1 minute. Adel, can you prepare the next link? Because أخاف ما يمدي. عشان احتياطي يكون موجود.
اوكي الحين بسويه وبدز. اوكي الحين بسوي ان شاء الله.
ودزه بعد ايميل احسن.
اوكي ندز ايميل حق
زوم يا ايميل. ايه.
اوكي بس اخاف احد يكون موجود هني ما دز ايميل. فافضل اني احطه بالانستغرام.
او انا الايميل اللي دزيت لهم اياه مسويت لكم سي اخذوا منهم الايميلات. ما ادري حطوا الاثنين اللي يصير.
اوكي خلاص خش.
لازم اكمل عشان.
يلا خش.
Okay. The next command called milestone, and I have to demonstrate because it's a bit hard to explain what it does, kind of. So I have here a set of I just have a grid. So I'm gonna type milestone. Okay, this one. This is the icon of the milestone, and then I'm gonna select all my curves, then enter. And then it's gonna ask you to draw the center of the milestone. So let's say this is my center, and then there's 2 radius there that you will set in the milestone. So this is my first radius. Just see what's happened, and then I'm gonna explain. Okay, so this is my first radius, and this is my second radius. So the circle that is in the middle, just 1 minute. So this is the second radius, and now notice what happens. So it's gonna apply the deformation outside of the second radius, and not far away from the first radius. Basically, the second radius is the most important one. Okay, so now let's say So yeah, it's really funny looking. Okay, so this was my second radius. So what is contained inside the second radius, it won't deform that much, unlike the area outside of the second radius. Okay, I'm gonna repeat. So milestone, object to deform, enter. This is my first radius, second radius. This is my deformation. Okay, we can also like play with it. Maybe this is your first radius and this is your second radius. And yeah, you'll have something similar to this. 1 minute. Yeah, I think we really need the second link because we're a bit we're too late. Anyway, and I'm also going to do the milestone with the object, so not just the curves. So let's say let's say I have so let's say I have that cylinder, or not a cylinder, a box. Okay, and I want to apply the milestone on that box. So milestone, select the object. This is my object. Enter, center of the milestone. Same thing. So you can go like this. So yeah, here we go. Okay. Also another deformation tools called taper. So this is my sphere. And taper also, this is the icon of the taper. So let's see what it does. So I'm gonna type taper, then select objects to taper, this one, enter the start of taper axis. I'm sorry. Okay, this is, let's say this is my axis. And then one more time. So this is my axis, the end of my axis. And then this is the distance. So notice what's gonna happen. It's gonna taper the upper part of the circle. Oops. Okay, let's create something similar to spinner. It's fun. Okay. And a quick note, when you have object like that with many isocurves, that means that this object is very heavy, heavy on Rhino. So it's better to rebuild that object by just selecting the object and type rebuild. Okay. And now this object is way much lighter than the previous one. So notice the amount of isocurves. So the more isocurves you have, the better. Okay, Dalal. I'm gonna repeat. So let's do taper now with this cube. I have this cube. I'm gonna type taper, then select object to taper, enter. So let's say this is my axis, and this is my distance. Okay. So notice what's gonna happen. Okay, is that clear, Dalal? I did not understand your question. How can you just explain? Sorry for that. اوكي عشان الصوت يصير اوضح ان شاء الله. Okay, so the next command called slop, and slop, it's need a bit of concentration, so just please concentrate on that. So I'm gonna have a sphere. Okay, and I'm also going to have a cube. I'm gonna just deform it a bit. You don't have to deform it. Okay, so yes, with you can offset the surface. You just type command offset surface. It will give it a thickness. So you okay. So now I'm gonna use slop. So this is the icon of the slop. So I'm gonna click on slop or type it on the command bar. So slop, select object to slop. So I'm gonna select this one. Enter center of reference sphere. Yeah. So to apply this command, you have to create a sphere inside or outside that that object. You will see why now. One more time. Okay, so this is my first sphere, and then it's gonna ask you to select surface to slop on. So this is my surface, and then it's gonna ask you to draw another sphere like this. So it's gonna, as if it's stamping that object on that sphere. And every time it gives you another variation. Okay. Something similar to this. Could be cool. I have never used it for like a project, but it could be really interesting to have. I'm gonna repeat because I know it's a bit confusing. It's like too many steps. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. So slop, select object to slop, this one, and then select enter, and then center of reference sphere. So I'm gonna draw a sphere here, and then select surface to slop on. This is my surface, and then I'm gonna draw another sphere where I want to apply the slop. Okay, and that's it for the slop. Is that clear? Because I feel the slope it's a bit too many steps. Okay. Okay, Sarah. Hi, Sarah. شلونك? Okay. The next command, it's also one of the most interesting commands called flow along surface. And I'll show you some of my previous work in my from my architecture and geometry class. And by the way, I highly encourage you to register in that class, which is really push your modeling skill. And I've learned a lot from that class, and also this class it's given by architect Adil Lushi, and also another class which is a mandatory class called the computer application. I'm sure that we all know computer application class by Dr. Jawad Tabtabai. So it's really wonderful classes that really teach me a lot. So try not to miss it. So now I'm going to show you some of my previous work with the flow along serve. Yeah, so this is a pavilion that we did for the architecture and geometry class. And so this was my surface. And the surface, by the way, I created it but just by using Loft. So really Loft could be a really powerful tool, especially when it comes like when you combine like Loft and deformations and cage edit and so on and so forth. So flow, what it does basically, it's you create any object that you want or a set of objects, and you let these objects to flow along a certain surface. So that's one example of Loft. So you can flow here. This example, I lofted. I flowed a multiple object. So this was a multiple multiple extruded squares. Okay, so this is the first example. The next example, also from my architecture and geometry class, and the difference in this example is that I flowed only one object, which is one surface. So you can already have solid or object, and you flow another surface on that object. So here I'm only having one object to flow, unlike the previous example where I have multiple objects. Here I have multiple objects, and here I have only one surface to flow. So I'm gonna demonstrate now. So here what I'm having, it's a simple freeform surface. So first thing to apply flow is to have, first command to use is to create UV. And create UV, what it does, it's as if you flatten the surface that you have or unroll it. Okay, so I'm gonna select, I'm gonna select, I'm gonna type create UV, create UV curve, enter, and then it's gonna ask you to select surface to create UV curves and points. I'm gonna select this surface, enter. So now you have this surface, this curve. So this is the exact similar surface, but it's flattened. It's not freeform like. Okay. So let's say I want to flow okay. Okay. I want to flow a bunch of I don't know, a bunch of cube. Some cube, yeah. Just I'm gonna scale this thing. You could flow almost anything you want. So I'm just gonna draw create a very quick. Okay. So I have my flattened curve of that surface, and I have the object to flow. The next thing you have to do is to select all the objects and group them. Okay. So now I grouped these objects. And then you have to come into the curves that we have just created from the surface and do it planar. So planar surf. Okay. So now I have the object to flow, and I have the planar surface of that object, and I have a surface to flow. So now you're good to do the flow along surf. So I'm gonna type flow along surf. Select object to flow along surf. So this is my object flow, and then enter. So it's gonna ask you to select the base surface. So this is my base surface, enter. And then it's gonna ask you to select the target surface. So this is my target surface. Okay, enter. So now you have all of your objects flowed along the surface. Okay, is that clear? Because I know it's also like too many steps. I can repeat. I'm gonna repeat. So first thing you have to do is to select the surface and then create UV curve. Then enter. Then you have your curve here, and then planar surf. Have your object here. Okay, then flow along surf. Select object to flow. This is my object. And then enter base surface. So this is my base surface. And then target surface. This is my target surface. Okay, it's flow along like from the bottom, because probably because the normal of this let's check. Flip the normal. Okay, to flip the normal of any surface, just select and then go to analyze direction, this icon, and then just click anywhere and then enter. So I'll try it one more time. So flow along surf. This is my objects to flow. Enter base surface. Oh, it's repeating the same thing. Okay, now it's working. Okay, so if you're facing that issue, just flip the normal of the surface by using this icon or that tool. Khalid, it's becoming irregular because it's type of deformations. So it deforms the object while it's flowing, and I think there's a way to preserve that object, but still I'm not sure. So I can look to it later after the workshop. Okay, now we're gonna apply the flow. I'm very excited to show you this example. We're gonna apply flow using flow along complicated object like this one. Okay, so just please, for this example specifically, try not to follow with me, because I'm worried that your laptop might crash. I'm not sure, because a bit, it sometimes takes much more time, and sometimes crash. So make sure to save everything before you apply this kind of examples. Khalid, I don't think so you can. Okay, so what I'm having here, this is my surface, so this is my target surface. And what I created here is that I select the target surface, Oops. Okay. This is my target surface, and I create the same thing. I create a UV curve. Enter. So this is the exact same curve here. Okay. Then I created an array of circles. Okay. And then what you have to do is to, okay. So in this example, it's a bit similar to what I showed you later, which is the black model, where I told you that I'm gonna flow only one surface. So I'm not flowing multiple objects. So I'm gonna copy this curve, copy in place. Okay, for now. Or you know what? Let's just create a planar surface of this one. So I'm gonna select the whole thing here, and then I'm gonna type planar surface. Okay, so now you have all of these trimmed surface, and also take the curve, the original curve, which is created from the create UV, and also do another planar surface. So now you have two surfaces. So this is the planar surface, okay? And this is the surface that you wanna flow it along that surface. Okay, I'm gonna change the color of the base surface to make it easier. I forgot to change the color. Okay, from the display. Okay, so I made the base surface red and the surface from the top black. So now let's do the flow. So flow along serve, enter, select object to flow. So I only have one object, which is one surface, which is the black surface. Select, okay, enter base surface, so my red surface. And then the target surface, which is this one. So now let's see the magic. So yeah, so now you have only one surface flowed along another surface. So as if it's paper-like. Not sure. Yeah, to me it could be really interesting. Cool. Thank you, Sheikha. Really cool tools. Okay. Now I'm gonna also do the flow, but try not to follow me because your laptop might crash, because these are a lot of circles. Okay, so I already grouped these. These are just circles, yeah, extruded circles, and this is my base surface. So also flow, select objects to flow. So these are my flow, my object. Enter base surface. This is my base surface. Target surface. This one. It's gonna take a couple more minutes. Let's wait. So yeah, it's really important to save your file before applying this command, because sometimes it's crashes. Hopefully not now. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so here it is, my surface. It happens, the same thing happens because of the normals, but so yeah, here we go. These are all flowed along that surface. Okay. So I think now we're done with the flow. So always remember. Thank you, Khaled. So yeah, you can either flow multiple objects or one object. Depends. So now I'm gonna talk about flow along curve. I'm not using it. I don't use it very often, but just in case. So I want to flow these objects along that curve. So first thing you have to do is to also you have to flatten the curve, the target curve. So this is the target curve, and in order to flatten that curve, so select the curve, and as these little a square, just click and type 0, enter. So now you have your curve already flattened. So this is a similar curve to this one. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. So this little square, just click 0. So this is your flattened curve. I already have it here. And then have your object to flow, and then let's see how this works. So flow along curve. Along curve. Just 1 minute. Where's my notes? Yeah. Okay. So flow, it should be there. Yeah, this one. Flow along curve. So I'm gonna use this icon. Flow along curve. So click, select objects to flow. So these are my objects to flow. Enter. The base curve. So this is my base curve. Enter. Click. Sorry. So then the target curve. So this is my target curve. Click. And now you have your object flowed along the curve. Okay. Okay. And the next command called orient. Orient, it's like repositioning one object on the other object. So let's say you want this pyramid to be there. So instead of just moving it and then rotate it and etc., we just use orient. So let's see how it works. So orient, select objects to orient, enter reference point. So it's going to ask you to select a reference point. So this is my first reference point, second reference point, and then also, okay. So now I move the objects by just using orient, because let's say مثلا your object is not orthogonal like this cube. So instead of just moving it and then rotate it, you just have to use orient. So that's it. The last one called array polar, which is type of array that I also found interesting. So let's see how. So array, I'm gonna type array polar, and then select object to array. Okay, enter. Center of the polar array. So it's gonna array it radially, basically. So let's say this is my center, and then it's gonna ask you for a number of items. So let's say I'm gonna copy it 15 number of times, and then just you can either type the angle or just click and drag. So I'm gonna click here and drag, enter. Okay, is that clear? So it's could be really handy also with the like creating such a pattern, or I don't know, could be really great. Also, it could be applied for an object. So same thing, array polar. So let's say this is my okay object to array. This one, center of polar array. This is my center. Let's say. Okay, then number of items, also 15 items. Enter, and then angle. Can also do it halfway. Okay. So is everything clear? Hope so. Yep. Thank you, Yasmin. Okay, we're done from the deformations and transformation tools, and it's really it's really powerful. You could do a lot more than what I showed you just by using these deformations tools. So just go along them and try to apply them. And also a good tool to use is to go to help bar here. If you can't see it, you can view it visible, make it visible from here. So whenever you type any command, so let's say line, okay, it's gonna show you what it needs, and also sometimes it shows you a video of how you can create this line. So this bar, it's really handy. Okay, so I'm gonna move into some of the tips and tricks. So I'm gonna hide everything. Okay. So tips and tricks. I'm gonna do a slab again, just to demonstrate this tip specifically. So notice the this part. It's as if it's divided into 4 different surfaces. So if I do explode, so now you have all of these individual surfaces. So let's say you want the whole thing to be one surface. So here where you can use the merge all surface merge all faces. So I'm gonna type merge all faces, enter, select poly surface, this one, enter, and now it's get rid of all of these individual surfaces. So now when you explode, now you have only one single surface. Okay. Okay. Boolean Two Objects. So we all know Boolean. So sometimes you want to experiment with, and you don't know what you want to use. Is it a Boolean difference? Is it a Boolean intersection, and so on and so forth. So okay. there's an option for Boolean where you can experiment with all of these options at one time. So from the solid menu, solid, there's option Boolean Two Objects. Okay, click. So select two objects. It's gonna ask you to select only two objects. So select two objects and then just keep clicking to like alternate between the Boolean options. I'm gonna click here and one more time, until you decide on what type of Boolean you want to apply. So one more time from the solid menu, Boolean two objects, and then select two objects to Boolean, enter, select two objects, then, oh. Oh, okay, it already applied a Boolean. Okay, one more time. These are my two objects, and then just keep clicking. Okay, until you decide on which Boolean you want to apply. Okay, this trick. Okay. Let me try something. Okay. So let's say you want to get rid of this part of the cube. So what you do, so let's say you're using Boolean difference. So select surface to subtract from, this is my cube, to no. Sorry. Okay, it doesn't, it's working, but straight, it's a bit weird. So it's, sometimes you want to trim this, the upper part, or like do the Boolean to remove this part, and it gives you the inverse. It moves this part, although you're clicking on this part. So the problem, simply because the normal, you have just to flip the normal. So just select the surface and then analyze direction and flip the normal, and it should resolve the issue. Okay, 1 minute. Okay, so let's say now you're drawing a line like that, and then you decide that you want to complete the line, but now to draw a vertical line. So we don't want to get out of the command and use the other vertical line. So you can just click on Control. So click Control and click on the last point, and now you can create your vertical line. Okay, so please guys, if something happens or if the connection breaks, we will create another link, because I really want to show you how to do the presentation in the graphical presentation in Rhino, and also how to set a proper section, a proper view of your section, because I think it's really important. So please don't move, just we're gonna send you another link if something happens, so just in case. Okay, so now I'm doing, I'm gonna repeat the tips. So I'm doing, I'm drawing a line, and then I decide to draw one vertical line to complete the curve vertically. Then click Control. Okay, so hold Control and click on the last point, and then you can move vertically. Okay, so that's it. Okay, another tip. So let's say you have this this object, and you want to scale this thing. You want to apply scale 1D to this thing. So if I do the scale 1D, okay, so notice what's gonna happen. It's gonna deform the object. So let's say I want to preserve that angle. I don't want to deform it. So to select, you have to select a specific surface. Okay. So just you have to click Control Shift and then select surface. Select the surface that you want to extrude. So one more time, just Control Shift and then select the surface. Okay, and then you can move it without losing the proportion. Okay, one more time, Control Shift, click on the surface, move it, and now you are preserving the original proportion. Okay, so that's it. Copy multiple. So let's say you want to copy this cube multiple times with the same distance, like this. So instead of just keep clicking every time, okay, there's a cool tip, which is not necessarily a tip, it's already there from the options. So I'm gonna type copy. Okay, and then I'm gonna select the object to copy, this one, and then enter. So let's copy it that much. Okay, so I'm still copying that object, but now from the options, there's something called from last point, use last distance, and use last direction. So just click on each options to convert it into yes, yes, yes. Okay, so now you just have to keep clicking, and it will keep preserving the same distance. Okay, I'm gonna do it one more time. Okay, you first have to copy this cube. So let's say that much. Okay, then by keep holding the mouse, just go to the options and change it into yes, yes, yes. Okay, and now you can copy it as much as you want without having to keep clicking on each point. Okay. Named position. So named position. So we all know the named view bar where we named our view. There's also an option to name the position. So let's say I'm gonna isolate that object. Okay. Okay. So let's say this is your you wanna do like an exploded diagram of that object. So what we usually do is that we dismantle our model like this. Okay, and let's say this is my view that I want. And then we do like make 2D, or we render it, or whatever. So then we bring these elements back. But it's a time consuming to do all of these steps. So what you can do is to use the named position, and you can show it from here, from this settings called just a minute. Okay, a named position. So yeah, I already have it. So a named position. So yeah, this is my named position. So what you have to do is before you start moving the parts is to name that position. So I'm gonna name my current position. So save as let's say 2. That should wait. Okay, لحظة. I'm gonna apply it on a different object because I messed with this one before. So okay. Okay, sorry. I forget to select the object. Okay, so this is my object for my exploded diagram. So I'm gonna select. Okay, let me try first. Okay, now it's working. So first you have to select the object and then you save the position. So I have to select the object and then save as, let's say 4. So this is my original position called 4. And then do your operations, do your make 2D, your rendering, whatever. And then, so whatever you want. So then when you, once you're done, you have to come back to your original position by just clicking on the named position, your named position. So I'm just gonna click on 4. So now I have my original position without having to keep moving it manually. So I'm gonna repeat. So before doing the named position, select the object, save 5, let's say. Okay. Do your movement. Okay. After you're done with from make 2D, rendering, whatever, and then to come back to your position, just click on your named position. Okay, is that clear? Oh, okay. So I found it really useful, especially when it comes to exploded models, because it's really annoying when you keep moving these parts and repositioning them again. Okay, so that's it for named position. The last tips and tricks, the last tip called, it's not a tip, it's already there, it's a command. So go to the Seaplanes. Okay, so let's say you have, already, you have this box. And you want to draw like an arc here. So if I'm gonna now draw the arc, so let's say this is my arc. Notice what's gonna happen. It's gonna use the C-plane of the perspective view. So let's say I wanna draw it vertically. So I have to change the C-plane. And sometimes there are certain objects, it's almost impossible to drawing them without changing the C-plane. So what you have to do is to reset the C-plane. So go to C-planes, and there are too many options. So what I'm gonna explain now, it's this one, set C-plane vertical, and this is mostly I used. So set C-plane. So as I said that I want to draw an arc from this point to this point. So this is my first point for the C-plane, and this is my second point. And notice what happens. It creates a C-plane in the exact same point that I have selected. Okay, so now I can come to my arc and draw it, and it will be drawn vertically. Okay, one more time. you can draw anything you want. So now you already have your arc drawn vertically. So after you're done, you have to come back to your original Seaplane. So you have to set Seaplane word. So this one. So now you have the original Seaplane. I'm gonna repeat. Okay. So we want to draw a curve. This part from this side, from this point to this point. So we have to change the Seaplane, and the way to change it is to go to the is to go to the Seaplane set Seaplane vertical, click, and then click where you want to create your Seaplane. Then click again, because I want to draw it from this side to this side. And now you have your Seaplane here, and then draw your whatever shape you want, and then go back to your original Seaplane. So that's it for Seaplane. So now we're done with the commands. These are all the commands that I want to show. Then what we'll do now is we'll set, let me show you. We're going to learn how to set a proper view to your section or your model. It can be the same setting. Setting could be applied to any type of view. But for now, I'm going to do it for a section. Because who knows me, I'm always obsessed with the sectional perspectives. And I feel it's more expressive than the original section. So I'm going to do it with the sectional perspective. So here, as you can see, there's two types of view. So this one is as if you have already typical 2D section, but with more depth, basically. But this one, it's more like you're looking from an angle. So this one you can call it sectional perspective, and this one you can call it, say, respectable section. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna repeat what. Okay. Thank you, Riham, for answering. Okay. So now we're gonna look into camera settings. So these are 4 key elements. It's important to know. So when you wanna do, when you wanna reset, we're gonna see. You wanna set your camera. So something called projection, lens length, Z location, Z target, and camera target. Okay. And okay, so first one, I'm gonna do this kind of view, and then I'm gonna move into this kind of view. Okay. So I'm gonna isolate this thing. Okay, so first thing you have to look at the window is I go to the just 1 second. I have to charge my. Okay, just to make sure avoid having any. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so first thing you have to look at is the projection of your section. So for the first view that I have showed you, first thing I usually do is that I go into, let's say, no, this one. Yeah, it's to go to your 2D view, 2D vertical view, which is, for me, it's the front view. Okay, so after I go to this view, I go to the projection, and then I change the projection from parallel to perspective. Okay, and so once you do that, it's gonna directly create a depth for your model. Okay, so what I did is that I just changed the projection. So from parallel, I move to perspective. Now, before zoom in or zoom out, you have to keep holding Alt. So keep holding Alt, and then just click and just use the right click mouse, and then start zoom in and out. Okay, don't zoom in and out before holding Control. So you can't, so not to avoid losing the flat looking or the 2D kind of section. Okay, I'm just holding Alt and then with the right click, and then just keep zooming in and out. Okay. Okay. So that's it for the. No, there's something also. Okay, so now talked about the projection. Now there's something called Z location and Z target. So these two values, make sure to keep them the exact same. So avoid having, for example, Z location 200 and the target 180. So make sure always to keep them similar. And you can also move the view up and down by just holding Shift, and then also right click and just keep moving up and down. Okay. So that's it. Using Alt and using Shift. So I changed the projection. I changed the projection, and I just make sure that these two values are the same, and then I just keep holding Alt or Shift to move up and down, and that's it for the first type of section. Okay. Next one, it's gonna be how to create a section at an angle, which is called Respectable Section. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. First thing I usually do is I try to experimenting with different angles. Like, you really have to spend time while experimenting with these angles. And what I like to play with when it comes to perspectival sections, something called lens length. This is a really powerful tool or option where you can, which can gives you a really dramatic look of your section. So as default, set to 50, but for now I'm gonna set it to let's say 35. And now also keep holding Alt and zoom in. And as you can see, it's create more of like a dramatic look for your section. But try not to go too far with this number. So I usually don't go beyond 35. Okay. And sometimes I like to move the projection into 2-point perspective because sometimes kind of distortion happens. So sometimes what happens, for example, if I type 10, so the image becomes very distorted, which is something I don't want to do. So I'll do the 35 perspective lens length, say, let's say like that. Okay. And then also one more thing to do, it's to make these two values similar, the same basically. So Z location, Z target. So I'm gonna copy the Z location, copy. I'm gonna paste it on the Z target. So what it does is it's لحظة wait, I'm still sharing Rhino صح? It doesn't stop, hopefully. What it does is it's making the section more of like human level, human eye level, because so to avoid having something like this, or as if there's a human looking at that section at that moment. Okay. So I'm gonna repeat what I did. So I change the perspective, the projection into perspective or 2-point perspectives. I prefer perspective personally. And then I change the lens length. And then I make sure that the Z location equal to Z target. Okay. There is another way to do the this kind of view, but I don't recommend it. Is to draw a line, same height. So let's say this is a height of a human that is looking to your section from this angle. Okay. So what you can do is to set the camera target here and let the thing, let the whole view come from this side. So let's see. So there's a camera, something called camera target. So place, so this option place, and then click on the top of your line. And yeah, as you can see, it doesn't always gives you a good result. So I don't recommend it. I recommend using all of these other options. Okay. Okay. While you're working, keep the lens length always 50. Just to set the view, change it to something 30 or 35. Okay. What I want to do now is to show you how you can end up with something similar to this, let's say. So, or you know what? I'm going to share another one. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. So how you can end up with something like this by only using Rhino without moving into an Illustrator or a V-Ray, just simply by using Rhino. So sometimes we don't have enough time to do our renderings, or we just want to do a quick test, or we just want to do it for a Instagram post, let's say. So we need something very quick. Also, one other example we will do together, hopefully. 1 minute. Okay. So this example, we will do it together. So this whole thing, I did it in Rhino. I have not transferred, exported to Illustrator or any other software, simply just by using Rhino. So we're gonna see now how can we do this. Okay. So okay, let's work now with this with the same section. And I'm gonna set a very quick view. Say this one. I'm gonna name my view. One. Okay. So with Rhino 6, there's a really cool display mode called Arctic. So this one, and it's possible. So that's how it looks in your laptop for now. So what you have to do to customize your display mode is to duplicate that display mode. I usually duplicate that mode. You can also duplicate another mode like pen. If there is enough time, I'm going to show you how to duplicate pen. Because pen, the result will be similar to what I showed you a couple minutes ago, the diagrammatic image. Okay, so first thing you have to do is to go to options. So command options, enter. Okay. Okay, so you will see this window. So the last option called view, and then go to display mode. Okay, so view, click on display mode, and then choose the mode that you want to duplicate. So I'm gonna use Arctic. Okay, so I'm gonna use Arctic, and then click copy. Okay, and then name it the way you want. So let's say I'm gonna name it Ghadeer. I don't know why. But okay, Ghadeer. One more time. Oops. I can't click on OK. Is there a way to? Oh, yeah, okay. Okay. So one more time, view, and then display mode. Select Arctic, copy. Call it what you want. Okay, and then click OK. Then change your current display mode into your duplicated display mode. So you have to see it here. So now I'm having Ghadeer here. Okay, so the display mode now set to Ghadeer. So now go to options one more time, and then start to play with the settings. So just before playing with the settings, make sure that you are hovering on your display mode, which is, yeah, this one. So this is Ghadeer. So now, well, I'll mention the most important options. So what you can change is, let's say, the background. So now it is set to a solid color, but let's say we wanna set it into, or let's say let's change the solid color. So I'm gonna change the white color into something like this one, and it's gonna update it directly. Or let's say I'm gonna use gradient, 2 colors. So let's say the first color is this. And my second color is brown. So yeah, so it could be really interesting. Okay, that's it for the background color. And the next option is the color and materials. Yeah, this one. So the color of these objects. So I'm gonna just click OK. So for now, all of these objects have one color. So, but what if we select, let's ungroup this one. Okay, what if we assign this, for this specific object, another color? So I'm gonna do it really quick. So now these objects, it's yellow. Okay, I'll show you how to delete the view in a minute. Okay, so now this object sets to yellow, and you can change the color from this, from just changing the color of the object. So I'm gonna change this object to another layer. I'm gonna set this layer to, say green. Okay, and then let's go to options one more time. Okay, and keep going with the options. So now you can come to the color and material usage and select object color. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, object color. So now the color of the assigned the color of the objects, it appears in the display mode. Okay. So that's another important options. Also, you can experiment with the visibility of these elements, such as isocurves, whether you want to display it or hide it. So this is the isocurves, and display and hide the isocurves. What else? If you have text, you want to hide it. Yeah, you can go with these. Another important options called edge thickness. So the thickness of that of these edges. So you can have different variety of different thicknesses. Okay. Also another option called lighting method, and I like to go with the ambient occlusion. Let's see what happens. This is where is it? No lighting. So maybe this is something that you want. You want it to look very diagrammatic, let's say, or for example, default lighting. Let's create kind of a shadow, or sea lighting. So yeah, I like to go with the ambient occlusion. Okay. Clipping plane. If you have a clipping plane, so the plane is cutting the object, so you can assign the color of the section cut. I can show you. Just 1 minute. I'm not sure what. Maybe because of the brightness of your screen. Let's check. Yeah, what I was gonna do, I'm gonna have a clipping plane. 3 point. Let's say I'm cutting through the model. I'm gonna go back to my view. So now we can control the color of the filling of the clipping plane because it's a section. So one more time, options. So yeah, now clipping plane objects. So the filling color, I want it to be, let's say, brown. Why it doesn't show? It should be shown. 1 minute. Should be working. Maybe I'm not cutting. Oh, okay. Yeah, you have to, when you do a clipping plane, make sure that it's activated in your view. So now it's not activated in view number 1. So I have to click on 1. So now, yeah, it's already activated. Okay. One more time. Okay. So when I'm gonna go back to options. So yeah, you can change the color of the cutting basically. So let's say so yeah, that's it for the clipping plane. So these are the most important options for the display mode. And now I'm going to talk about how to capture that specific view. So let's say you're happy with the result, although I'm not happy with the end result. It's very okay. But let's say you're happy with the result and you want to capture it and save it and add it to your poster. Okay. So what you have to do is to capture that specific view. And something that sometimes happens with some students is that the result is always pixelated. So I'm gonna go to the capturing options. So yeah, capture file. So yeah, you'll have that window. So since I'm using gradient background, so I don't want transparent background, I'm gonna keep it the way it is. And then I recommend using the resolution of the viewport and then just manipulating that value, because I don't know why whenever I use this resolution or like I use the custom resolution, the result always pixelated. So what I like to do is and I'll show you an example where I do the both options, and it's really the quality is really different. So I like to use the viewport and then just duplicate that value. So let's say I want to have a double size of the viewport. So just type 2, and then the resolution is going to be updated. So let's say I want 4 times the original resolution. Enter. One more time. Okay. So let's say I want to increase that number. So whenever you're increasing it, the resolution is gonna change. And then just hit OK. So before I hit OK, just make sure not to mess with this resolution. Just set the resolution to the viewport and just manipulate that value. And I'll show you an example of how this. Yeah, this one. So in this example, I use the resolution. I customize the resolution, and in this example, I use the viewport resolution. And yeah, the quality, this one is very pixelated. as you can see. Versus this one, it's nice and smooth. And personally, when it comes to like a final review, I'd like to use V-Ray. But let's say you don't have time to use V-Ray because it takes hundreds of hours to render. So that could be a good option. Okay. Now, I want you to choose. So we could now do the exercise, which is I'm gonna show you. We could either do do the display mode for this diagram to end up with something similar to this one. So for this one, I just duplicate the pen display mode. Okay. Yeah, I duplicated the pen display mode. And so we either do this thing, or if you want to do an exercise, which is really fun to do. Where's okay, we're gonna do an origami modeling together, and then if you want, we could maybe share our screens and see what is the result. So please choose what you want to do. You want to do the pen display mode, or you want to do the modeling exercise, which is the origami modeling. I'm waiting for the response. Can you choose, please? I'm waiting. Pen display, please. Origami. Okay, both. I wish I could do both. I want to do both, but أخاف يقطع فجأة. إن شاء الله ما يقطع. So let's count. Origami 1. Okay, it shows that most of you won the origami. I'll do the origami, then I'll move to the pen. Okay, and then I'll keep you to do the origami by yourself. Okay, I'm just gonna explain the origami now, and you can also apply. And then I'll move quickly to pen because I found it really useful. And I hope the connection doesn't break. If it's break, we're gonna do another link, so don't worry. We're gonna do both. So yeah, the origami exercise, this is also we learned from architecture and geometry class, and it's really simple to do, though it looks very complicated, kind of complicated. And also there's a lot of some application when it comes to architecture, like this building, it is the Air Force Academy Chapel. So yeah, could be really fun and also really powerful at the same time. And I'm gonna explain these steps very quick, and then I'm gonna move into Rhino. So first, we will draw a polygon with any number of sides. So you can draw a triangle, hexagonal, hexagon, any polygon you want with any number of sides. And then we're gonna copy the polygon in place. And then we're gonna rotate the copied version by that value. So 360 divided by the number of sides. So if we have a 3-sided polygon, we're gonna divide the polygon. We're gonna rotate the polygon 360 by 3 by 2 divided by 2, and then we're gonna move it upward, and then we're gonna use one command called extrude curve to point, and then finally we're gonna mirror the result. So it's really easy to do. So I'm gonna do it very quick, and then I'm gonna move to pen. Okay. So I'm gonna create my polygon. So this is my polygon command, and then here where you can decide on the number of sides. Sarah Al-Harbi, what is your question? You can talk if you want, or type your question. Okay, I'm gonna create my polygon. So this is my polygon. I'm gonna create it with say 6-sided polygon. Just click. Oh, sorry, I have to go to the perspective view to have the seaplane. Okay, so now I'm gonna throw my polygon, my 6-sided polygon. 6. Okay. Okay, sorry. Seaplane. Okay, so this is my polygon. Okay, after you have to copy the polygon in place. So copy in place. Okay, then we're gonna rotate that polygon. So I'm having 6-sided polygon. So just I'm gonna click on that that side of gumball, or you can rotate it with a command. I'm gonna click here, and then I'm gonna type 360 divided by 6 divided by 2. Enter. So this is my rotated polygon, and then I'm gonna move it a little bit. Okay, and then I'm gonna explode the whole thing. Okay, so I created the polygon, I rotated, and I move it upward. So now what you only have to do is to use extrude curve to point command. Okay, extrude curve to point. Okay, so now just we're gonna select each curve and extrude it to 1 point. So for example, so I'm gonna select this curve, enter, and then till that point. Okay, so and also you have to alternate. So for example, here I started from top to bottom, then I'm gonna have to start from bottom to the top. So extrude curve to point again. Extrude curve to point again. Select, enter, and also repeat the exact same thing until you're done. Okay. Okay, I'll do a thickness for the origami. Even if you have any question, I did not respond to it, please email it to me and I'll get back to you. And I may share it on my Instagram. So yeah. So now I'm done from that shape. Now I have to mirror that shape and then just copy. So now I'm gonna use, first I'm gonna join the surfaces. Okay, then mirror. Object to mirror, this one, enter. And then there's an option called 3 points. I'm gonna click on 3 points, and then first point of mirror. You can select honestly everywhere. I'm gonna select only the middle of the object. So this is my first point. This is my second point, and then just mirror it like that. Just move your mouse. It's gonna be a mirror. Okay, I'll do it one more time. So mirror object, so mirror this one, enter 3 points, and just click here, and then click here, and then yeah. So now just copy this. So copy it as much as you want. So now you'll have you're having your origami thing. Oops. Okay. You can also control the visibility from this part. Riham, 3 point means, as far as I know, it's that it creates a plane where, like a mirror plane, I guess. I'm not sure. Okay, so now I just hide the curves from the display bar. So now you have your origami thing. What you can also do is to so let's say you can play with it and move some parts. Or for example, you want to create kind of a walkway. So you delete all of these inner parts and it becomes kind of a walkway. So yeah, you can go crazy with it as much as you want. So let's try to give it a thickness. And I guess there is an issue with thickness. I'm not sure. So I'm gonna use offset surf. This is my thickness. Oh, I'm gonna increase the thickness. So offset surf. 4.5. Yeah, this is it giving it a thickness, but there's kind of an issue. And for example, yeah, it gives it a thickness, but one issue is that all of these surfaces are not connected. Okay, so these all are separate elements, and it shows from these line in between. Because I remember in my class when we did that, he said, the architect Adil does that there is an issue specifically with Rhino while offsetting these kind of forms. Maybe in Grasshopper could be possible. Okay. Do you want me to repeat the exercise or should we move to pen? Is it clear? The steps. Okay. I'll move very quick to pen. Hope it doesn't break the connection. Okay. So as you know that I told you that you can duplicate a specific display mode. So for now, I'm gonna duplicate pen display mode, which I found it really cool display mode, but it needs a bit of customization. So this is the pen display mode, and it has that ugly background. So let's fix it. So as you can see here, we don't have the intersection line. So I'm gonna type intersect. Intersect. Okay, just select this object, enter. Now I have this line. Okay, So we're gonna repeat the exact same steps. So options, then go to view, then display mode, and then choose pen, and then copy. I'm gonna name it pen 4, and then okay, and then I'm gonna change this display mode into pen 4. Okay, then I'll go back to options, and then I'll play with all of these options. So first thing, yeah. So in pen display mode, you can use an image for the background. So it's better to use. So let's say you want to export it to the to let's say Photoshop or Illustrator. So you can choose white, keep it white for just for now. I'm gonna use slide this one. As to 1 minute. إيش ما تغير؟ okay. I'm changing the pen to. I have to change the pen 4. So now I'm gonna change the background into solid color. So yeah, shows now. So for example, I'm gonna use pinkish one. Okay, so now I'm changing the color. You can also make it white. So you can play with it in Photoshop or Illustrator. So another important options for pen specifically called shade objects. So if you notice that I already assigned a color for this object using the layers. So these objects are from different layers, and each layer has a different background. So you have to check on shade objects. So now it's gonna be shaded according to the object, the color of that specific object on the layer. Okay. And also, what I like to do is to for what is the light? Okay. And also, you can control the visibility of these things like curves and isocurves. And also, you can for pen specifically, I like not to use any lighting. So I'll keep it very diagrammatic. Okay. And also one really important thing is to how to control the outline curves of that object. So the outline of these boxes and those cylinders, these cylinders. So I'm also already on pen. So click here. Okay. Go to objects. There is 2 important options called the curves and the lines. The lines is these lines. Okay. And you can also make them as a dashed line, also on Rhino. I'll show you how. So now we're gonna go to curves. So one more time. So pen, then objects, then I'm not sure it's it. Let's see. Yeah. So this is the curves. The curves is this one. You draw the curves that you have drawn, and the lines. The lines, it's what we want. So I like to play with the edge line, which is so notice how it gets thicker when I increase the edge line width. And also there is a silhouette line, which is the silhouette of the whole composition. Okay. So yeah, this is probably very thick, but just to demonstrate. So yeah, that's it for the options. And also one last thing want to do is to show you how to convert these lines. Oh, I forgot to look. Okay, never mind. I'll show you how to convert these lines into a dashed line using Rhino. So in Rhino, there's a lot of drafting tools. So from here, so just go and experiment with it. And you could also like do the whole drafting process only in Rhino. So it's really powerful. So this is what I'm gonna use. Set line type. I'm gonna click. I'm gonna select my lines. And then enter. So you can choose from this line. I'm gonna choose this one. Okay. So yeah, now you have these lines. The scale is small. And one more time, show you some. We'll just increase the scale of the. So same thing. Enter. How to change the scale. One thing left. Maybe from the options, forgot. So pen, no, oh, pen 4. Yeah, pen 4. Then just go back to the solid color. And then, so objects, curves. Okay. I think maybe there is an issue with the scale. So I've heard in one of the tutorial that you can't change the scale of the, or probably you can, but I'll look at it and I'll send it as an email, or I'll share it on my Instagram, because I know there's a way to change the scale. Okay. Okay, one thing I want to share with you is the, if you're an intermediate level and you would like to keep improving your Rhino skills. So this is a YouTube channel called How to Rhino. So it has really interesting and very short tutorials, like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And like he modeled buildings and yeah, mainly buildings. So you can learn a lot of tips and a lot of techniques by only one tutorial. Thing. Sorry. Okay. So yeah. So, but if you're a beginner, if you are still a beginner, I encourage you to look at because I tried to find like a specific YouTube channel for beginner, but yeah, but all of them I found them great. So yeah, just start with the most basic stuff, and then move into the more complicated things like that. Okay, I'll share the origami thing. Okay. Yeah, so this is the origami steps. You're welcome, Fatma. I guess your name is Fatma. So any question? So just before ending, scale of the dash. The scale of the dash, I'm gonna figure it out because there's a way to do it, I know. Thank you so much, Casa, for having me. I had so much fun with you. Inshallah, we'll meet one more time, next time with better circumstances. Inshallah, we come back to college sometimes because I miss the college so much and I miss all of you. You're welcome all.
ان شاء الله. ومشكوره غدير وايد.
Thank you, Adil.
مشكوره للامانه غدير على هالورك شوب. يعني ما اتوقع ممكن نتعلمه بالجامعه، بس كانت فيها معلومات. صحيح كانت طويله، بس للامانه كان فيها كم من المعلومات للامانه وايد انا شخصيا استفدت منها. فقواك الله، ومشكوره انك قدرتي او انك وافقتي انك تعطين هالورك شوب هذه. ما
لا
قصرتي.
بالعكس، كان حيل بخاطري من زمان أيام الجامعة، بس الحمد لله سويناها الحين.
الحمد لله. بس
Please, anyone who have any question, just you can reach me with through my email or through my Instagram account. I'll always reply, inshallah. Just okay. Welcome, Turkey. And if you will do the origami exercise, just share it with me. I want to see what you will do later. Okay, I think there's no question. Just if there's any question, please share it with me. Inshallah, I'm gonna respond, or I'm gonna share it with my Instagram account. So everyone will be exposed to it. How do you apply material? Oh, sorry, Wood. Honestly, Wood, I have never tried it before, but I guess that if you already have set a material in V-Ray, which like V-Ray is a whole different topic, then you can use that specific material on the display mode. My Instagram account, I'm gonna type it here. This won't be the last workshop. I wish I could do more of these kind of workshop, and maybe like with another software. I'm gonna type my Instagram account just in case. So yeah, this is my, oh, sorry. So yeah. So any more questions? Yeah, Vire, I know Vire, it's a big thing. I'm still learning Vire. Vire, it's really great, but it needs a lot of practice. That's the thing with Vire. Otherwise, it could be really, really great rendering tools. And also now it becomes like the top of any other rendering engine. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I remember the staircase on a sweep curve. Honestly, I don't like Lumion. To me, it's a bit cartoonish, I would say. I don't know, to me. And it's very expensive to purchase. So I like Twinmotion, but I'm still gonna learn it soon, inshallah. Inshallah, we're gonna meet again. Inshallah, on the college. Because I wanna come back to college as soon as possible. So I'm gonna do the spiral. Oh. Programs, Riham, I think. To me, I started learning Houdini. But just like before Houdini, you should definitely start learning Grasshopper because it can work simultaneously with Rhino, and it's really great, powerful tool. And I'm still learning Grasshopper. And yeah, it's really a time saver. Like I would say first Grasshopper, then go into more like animation kind of software. Like you have a Twinmotion, you have Blender. I'm still not, I didn't learn Blender yet, but I've heard that it could be also really great, powerful tool. And also you could download Rhino 7 and it has a lot of subdivision command. So yeah. I've tried to create the staircase thing. I'll just okay for rendering for my grad project. I used mainly Vire and Rhino. Yeah, it started being enough to me, Rhino, and I'm not a fan of Photoshop. I use Photoshop only to do color correction and something like very, very basic. I'm not Photoshop kind of person. So yeah, mainly Rhino and like poster. I used also Illustrator. So these two to me are great, and also Vire. And I'm start learning Grasshopper. So for someone who asked about the staircase, so I create the previous spiral surface and I just create one step. I do it very quick because it needs a bit of tweaking. So there's something called array along curve. Array curve on I guess this one array curve on no, which one? Array. Let's try array curve. Let's see. Select objects to array. This one. Enter. Select path curve. This is my path curve. And then you can select the number of items. Let's say 15. And then I'll go with freeform. No, doesn't work. One more time. Swipe one. Welcome Anwar. Wait, come inside. So array, set array curve on surface, and guess objects. So array this one, base point, curve. No. Array surface, array curve. Okay. I'm gonna use road light. Enter. Like on a viewport of just the seaplane. Kind of doing it, but I remember it's a bit يدوخ. So I'll keep it in my note and I'll share it with you soon. So sweep with staircase. So I'll do it, or maybe I'll do a short tutorial and send it via email. I'll send it, I mean, as a video. Okay. Is there an easier way? For what? Okay. You're welcome. So since we have some of the participants, I'll share this thing with you. So in Rhino, you can have your own shortcut for the command. So you have certain command that has a really long terms. So let's say Boolean Difference. So it's really long word. So you can have your own shortcut for your command, for that command, basically. So to do so, you have to go to the options. Okay. So something called aliases. It's this one. So let's say I want to create an abbreviation of a Polygon command. So you have to select anywhere and just new, and then just type your own abbreviation. So let's say copy. I just want to create an abbreviation of copy. It's already there. So I want to, let's say Polygon. I'm going to type, so my own abbreviation is going to be P. And then here you have to type the command using the same naming convention. So just copy this text here, paste it here, and change the command. So my command called Polygon. And you have to type it exactly the same. And then OK. And then once you type P, enter, and then you can create your polygon. So you don't have to type the whole command. You just can have your own abbreviation. So this thing called aliases. Okay. Any one last question before I leave? You're all good? Because I'm gonna leave in 2 minutes. Okay, so I think that I'm gonna leave now. So thanks again to all of you. Inshallah, see you all in our favorite university. Inshallah. And yeah, bye.
باي. ثانك يو غدير.
شكرا عادل، مع السلامة.
مع السلامة.